It's Thursday, September 2nd, and it's time for your Barbados Today morning news update. 20 volunteers from churches across the island will help the COVID-19 monitoring unit assess the appropriate number of people who can worship at religious buildings. This was one of the solutions coming out of talks between government and faith-based organizations on Wednesday on issues such as outbreaks of the virus in some churches and to fine-tune protocols, as well as to address the environmental suitability of certain buildings where worshippers gather. Emmanuel Joseph has the story and tells us more.
The discussions involved leaders of the Barbados Christian Council, the Barbados Evangelical Association, the Barbados Muslim Association, and the Jewish faith. Chairperson of the Christian Council, Dr. Cicely Athel Horsford, said that having recognized that the COVID-19 monitoring unit had only 6 members and therefore could not visit all of the places of worship in a given time, the faith-based community has offered up its service.
So we volunteered, so coming from the faith-based community right across the board, we are offering 20 persons who volunteer to be trained by the COVID unit, to assist the COVID unit to follow through on checking these places of worship, these houses of worship where they have to give information on the buildings. They have to talk about their seating plan. And based on those and what the COVID unit would recommend, the numbers would indicate.
The Christian Council head also expressed concern about the increasing incidence of the virus among children in Barbados and is therefore appealing to all Barbadians to get vaccinated.
So much so that we are offering our facilities to the Ministry of Health and the vaccination unit if they can use our facilities to vaccinate persons in the community so they do not have to go far or go to far to the vaccination centers.
The president of the Barbados Evangelical Association, Dr. Nigel Taylor, who also attended the meeting, said the government had agreed to a request from the churches to be partners in the COVID response.
The church is by far a large part of the population, huh? Mm-hmm. And the church has been supporting the protocols left, right, and center. We believe that instead of hearing things for the first time on, say, by a directive from, say, the AG, when he gives his directive, right, it would be nice if we could input. You understand? Mm. Input in directive. We would hear, and so we could, in other words, we could share. Mm. We could share a perspective because no one person has all the knowledge.
That was President of the Barbados Evangelical Association, Dr. Nigel Taylor, and I'm Emmanuel Joseph for Barbados Today.
The Democratic Labour Party spokesperson on health, Paul Gibson, has called for decisive leadership from government in the wake of a spike in COVID-19 cases. Gibson believes that there is a need for the Mia Mottley administration to adopt a different approach in fighting the highly infectious Delta variant.
Obviously, the Democratic Labour Party believes that there needs to be a change in the approach to the decision-making regarding the virus. The virus continues to mutate and is wreaking havoc on our economy, on our social existence, and as we know it, it is wreaking havoc on the souls of our people. We need to protect ourselves. We need to educate ourselves regarding the virus. We need leadership in respect to how we approach and manage this pandemic. We need to protect lives of young children and adults. We as a people also need to prevent the painful death of children and adults alike because of COVID-19. Strengthening our immune system is also a part of this defense and is a critical part of getting back to normalcy. This is achieved by, of course, eating properly, but we know that food and its high cost is currently a major issue. But more vegetables and supplements and things of this nature would enhance our immune systems. But we also need to assist in protecting our immune systems by becoming vaccinated. But at the end of the day, this pandemic, this Delta virus, this variant, and its control is calling for good leadership, decisive leadership. That's what we as Barbadians are asking for.
The Student Revolving Loan Fund donates cash to the Eden Lodge Youth Charitable Trust. The donation was made at the Ministry of Education's Constitution Road, St. Michael location on Thursday. Loans manager Susan Griffith said the board approved the cash donation, knowing that the number of individuals seeking assistance had increased due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
The Student Revolving Loan Fund sees a donation of this type as an investment in the young, less fortunate persons of our nation, and given the current environment, the SRLF is aware that such donations are needed even more now. Not only is such a donation consistent with our desire to give back to our community, but it also allows us to provide financial assistance to youth to assist them to strive to achieve academic excellence, which is central to what we do as an organization. The SRLF remains committed to investing in the higher education of Barbadians by providing affordable and easily accessible loans for the pursuit of further studies.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To news from the region, the Jamaica government is being urged to put measures in place to address long lines and overcrowding at COVID-19 vaccination sites. More in this report from Television Jamaica.
The race against time to get the vaccine into the arms of as many people as possible so that the country can move closer to herd immunity. But all has not been smooth sailing. There were chaotic scenes at the National Arena on Monday when hundreds of Jamaicans who turned up at the facility to take the jab were sent elsewhere due to overcrowding. Professor of Public Health Dr. Winston Davidson is now pressing the government to put measures in place to improve the vaccination plan.
But the problem is a logistical problem. It is slackness, and it ought to be dealt with. And if they can't do it, then put somebody else to do it.
There are also calls for the government to remove the logistical aspect of the vaccination process from the Ministry of Health so the ministry can focus on getting the jab into the arms of Jamaicans. Public commentator Dennis Chung is of a different view. He believes better management is what's needed.
And finally, climate change and increasing extreme weather events have caused a surge in natural disasters over the past 50 years. That's according to the World Meteorological Organization's Atlas released on Wednesday. According to the Atlas, from 1970 to 2019, weather, climate, and water hazards accounted for 50% of all disasters, 45% of all reported deaths, and 74% of all reported economic losses.
Thanks to our early warning service improvement, we have been able to have a decrease of the casualties at these kind of events. But the bad news is that the economic losses have been growing very rapidly, and this growth is supposed to continue. We are going to see more climatic extremes because of climate change, and this negative trend in climate will continue for the coming decades anyhow. And if we are successful with climate mitigation, we could stop this negative trend around 2060s.
That's news.
But for the very latest, visit us at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. And you can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.